Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up is going to be a post-game reaction show after a heartbreaking 37-34 overtime loss to the San Francisco 49ers. The Raiders had an opportunity to win the game. Obviously, Jarrett Stidham, I thought, played an incredible game. The final interception, it hurts. But Nick Bosa, arguably the best defensive player in all of football, pushed Colt Miller back, which then altered Stidham's throw. Well, you got to be happy with the effort Stidham gave. The reason why the Raiders lost this game is the defense just depleted. The amount of injuries, it showed. The Niners were the more physical team from top to bottom. Even though that this game was filled with 75% Niner fans in Allegiant Stadium, which breaks my heart, I don't think many people expected to get the kind of game that they did between Brock Purdy and Jarrett Stidham. I mean, Stidham today, 22 of 34, 365, nice, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jacobs on the ground, 17 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Davante Adams, 7 for 153 and a touchdown. I mean, you got Davante Adams who, let's just say it, he just broke Tim Brown's record for most receiving yards in a single season by any player. Tim Brown had it at 1,408. And Jacobs also became only the second Raider player ever with Marcus Allen have 2,000 total yards in a season. You got an unbelievably talented team, just unfortunate season this year. So how about this? Grade Jarrett Stidham against the Niners. A, B, C, D, or F. I got to give Stidham a B. The 2 turnovers in the second half, they hurt. And, I mean, we got to be able to face the facts here. If Carr would have turned the ball over in overtime, we'd be having probably a much more of a meltdown. But you have to be real. Stidham played a hell of a football game. And I think if anybody out there doesn't think that benching Derek Carr was the right thing to do now, Stidham played better and gave you a better shot to win than I thought Derek did. Today, I thought the offense played arguably their best game that they've played all year, going up against the number 1 defense in all of football. You put up over 500 total yards. Stidham kept you in the game. His mobility was clearly there, and he looked much better and much more confident in the Josh McDaniels system than DC ever did. So for that reason, I'm going to give him a B, B-plus grade. Obviously, it could have been a lot different if you come away with a win. Let's go to Young Does. Just lose, baby. It's DC's fault. I mean, I don't really want to talk about DC, but Jarrett Stidham, the right move was to bench Derek Carr after watching that game. Michael Lopez, McDaniels loses another lead. Who will he blame now? I mean, you're right. He got his quarterback traded for him. That's the 5th lead that the Raiders have blown when they've had at least a 10-point lead. Most in the NFL, and I believe it might be the most in NFL history. Let's go to Zachary Rossfeld. This is all the proof you should need to know it's not the quarterback losing these leads. Again, I don't think many people said it was just Derek Carr's fault, but you do have to realize that making a change made the most sense because you never won anything with DC, and that's what the NFL is about, winning games. And the fact that Stidham was able to come in on basically half a week and outplay Derek, I mean, Stidham played better today than I think almost Derek played his entire season. So they made the right move. What up, Toby? Damn, Carr cost the Raiders again. What up, Todd? Great game. Carr would have gotten blown out 49-13. Very proud of Stidham. Can't wait for next year. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that big of a score difference, but, I mean, we got to be able to face the facts. I think if Carr's the quarterback in this game, I think the Raiders lose by 2 touchdowns at least. Tyler Turner, doesn't matter who's under center. Defense is terrible. No quarterback pressure can cover. I mean, McDaniels definitely didn't do a great job near the end of the game because, again, you blew another lead. But in terms of offensive play calling, I was actually impressed today by McDaniels' offensive play calling. What really came down to this one was the early on in the game, you went for it on 4th and goal, didn't get it. I mean, think about it. You kicked that field goal early there. You end up winning this game. And then the defense. The defense is just depleted. You don't have your healthy players out there. You're missing a lot of big-time starters, and it showed. I mean, they played great early, and then they got tired, and they didn't have the depth, and that just added up, and the 49ers took advantage of it, which is, what good teams do. Now, if y'all don't already know, Manscaped, great offer available for y'all. Go to manscaped.com, use code Raiders, 20% off, and you're going to get free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. I'm rocking the 69 jersey tonight. Shout out to Hellcat Q. But hey, if you were trying to do 69 later with your lady friend or whatever you're into, seriously, use Manscaped products. It's going to make the process a lot better. I love the ball toner. I love the ball deodorant. Think about it. If you use deodorant underneath your arms, you should also use it on your downstairs as well. Lawnmower 4.0 is the best tool to use. I take it in the shower. It is water resistant. So you don't got to worry about anything going wrong, it's made for the shower. It's a really cool tool, and I think it's also going to make your tool look great. Manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. Let's go to Toby. Number 3, start next year. He honestly seemed really nice. We'll see. I mean, if you can still get an upgrade at quarterback, you still should try to get an upgrade at QB. I will say this, though. McDaniels might try to roll with Stidham. The only issue is I still think with Stidham as your quarterback next season, like, you don't want that. That's not what Raider fans want. It kind of reminded me of the game 2 years ago when Mariota came in for an injured Carr. Mariota played great. When teams get more tape on a guy, they can start to figure him out more. Stidham played great this game. Tip your cap, but he's not the long-term answer. Let's go to Show Nuff EZ. Stidham knows the system, but they don't give. All right. I mean, I don't understand why people are saying I think it's Carr's fault. I get that y'all are trying to troll right now, but Jarrett Stidham played much better than DC would have. Like, he was way more mobile. Aaron, can we talk about Nate Hobbs' poor play after the injury? We can. I mean, I've brought it up multiple times on the show. I mean, Nate, last season I thought was one of the best slot corners in the NFL, and one of the reasons why I was a little bit nervous to move him to the outside is because you go up against different players, but you're right. Hobbs has struggled since getting injured. The Raider, what are your thoughts on Hobbs? He hasn't looked good. I mean, he hasn't. He's struggled. There's no doubt about it. Hobbs has really taken a step back this season. I mean, he's still probably one of the better young corners in the NFL in terms of overall hope and what you're trying to get. But I would think that you should try to look at what the Raiders did last year with Bradley and figure out what exactly is going on. Maybe Nate Hobbs is just built to be a slot corner, and that's okay. Adam Jones, upset about the loss, but Stidham played a hell of a game against the number 1 defense. Got to give it to him. You do. You got to tip your cap to Stidham. Stidham kept the Raiders in the game. He did a great job evading pressure. He bought time. His physical toughness, his willingness to take hits in that game, that really impressed me. I mean, I remember the one he rolled out as the Davante Adams long touchdown catch. Rolled, waited, knew he was going to take a lick. Took a lick, hit Davante, wide open, touchdown. He deserves a lot of credit. Now, the other issue is this. You still got Josh McClown as your head coach, which until we get rid of him, it's going to be really, really difficult to be inspired. But the Raiders, if the season were to end today, you would have the number 7 overall pick. So keep that in mind behind the Texans, Bears, Seahawks, Cardinals, Colts, and the Lions. My question to you is this. What's your confidence level in Josh McDaniels? You move on from Derek. I mean, I would have moved on from McDaniels before I moved on from Derek, but the Raiders, Mark Davis needed a scapegoat. Mark Davis said that he was more upset with Derek Carr's play than McDaniels. I'm about a 1. I don't believe in McDaniels being a leader. I do think he can call offensive plays, which he showed you today. But until he shows me that he can coach an entire game, I mean, it's hard to have confidence in a guy that was literally blown. His team has blown 5 leads of 10-plus points. That's tough. Let's go to Sal. So is this 6 losses when leading by 10-plus? Nothing has changed. Who knows? No, it's 5. It'll be 5 losses of 10-plus. The Raiders have blown, right? Yeah, so 5 losses of 10-plus, I believe is what it is now. But maybe I'm wrong on that. I might have to look now that you say that. Let's go to Derek. New quarterback, same result. It's almost like quarterback wasn't the issue. No apologies needed. We already knew F the Niners. I mean, the one thing I will never get is why people are just defend Carr as much as they do. He unfollowed the Raiders. He's already taken hashtag Raider Nation out of his bio. He said that he wasn't going to get traded or he'd rather retire. He's going to end up doing that. And you never won anything with Derek. Like, I will never understand a fan base. I get it. You can like Derek. But the comments that we've gotten in this postgame show are kind of sad, honestly. Caesar, I told you so. Like DJ Callis says, another one, but I still refuse to lose the Weiner Super Chats. Go Raiders. I appreciate that. I think I do think we ended up picking up the win in the Super Chat battle. Jeremy said that we did, so shout out to all of y'all. Even though we lost on the field today, we did come away with a win, at least in our Super Chat battle. If you want more free videos, hey, remember, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. If you don't know how to turn on your notifications, maybe you're an old guy like my dad, you can go to your settings app, scroll down, tap YouTube, tap notifications, and then you can hit turn on, allow notifications. That way when I drop a video or when we go live, it pops up right on your phone. Let's go to John. Losing in Raider ways. I mean, they battled tough. You got to be able to give them credit. They battled tough. The interception hurt, right? I mean, obviously, Bosa, though, pushing Colt Miller back into Stidham, which is what created the flutter. It sucks. No doubt about it. David Brown. How soon, we forget Derek Carr had the most comeback wins of any active player. How's your boy Stidham look now? I mean, you have to face the facts. Stidham played well. Carr was 9-1 in overtime. The defense played bad today. If you think Derek Carr keeps the Raiders in that game that they just played, I think you're crazy. Did he have a lot of comeback wins? He sure did. But also, Jarrett Stidham has the amount of playoff wins that Derek Carr has. That's the biggest reason why it was time to move on. Zornell, great game. We need this loss for better draft pick. Yes, right now the Raiders do have the number 7 overall pick. But, I'm going to be really mad next week if everything happens that needed to happen for the Raiders to make the playoffs. And because with the Dolphins losing today, the Jets losing today, if the Raiders would have won, they still would have had a chance to make the playoffs. Eva, y'all Carr haters need to move on. Stidham did well. I do not mind moving on from Carr. The only thing I don't like is all the hate for Carr. Make it sound like Carr is the worst quarterback in history. That's the problem with Raider Nation at times. I get it, we're passionate people, but Carr was good, right? He wasn't terrible. He wasn't elite. He hasn't been a top 10 quarterback since 2016. But I get the idea of people really falling in love with a guy, watching him for a long time, and there's nothing wrong with that. The issue is, it's just people either thinking he's too good, and there's too many people that don't think he's good enough. Let's go to Derek. 2/3 of Carr's interceptions bounced off receivers' hands, yet you are giving Stidham a pass. I'm not giving Stidham a pass. I said that it would have been an A grade. He threw for 365, 3 touchdowns. He had an incredible game against the defense. And I get it. Derek also lost a lot of the interceptions. I can think of 2 for Waller from Tennessee, the Foster Moreau one. They're right. There's multiple. But Stidham played better in the McDaniels system. And whether Raider fans like that or not, he did. He looked much more confident and better in the McDaniels system, which is what matters right now to the Raiders. Hobbs has been awful since coming back from IR. He hasn't been good. There's no doubt about that. Pan, 500 yards on the number 1 defense. The Raiders' offense did everything you could. You couldn't ask for the offense to do much more. Yeah, the interception sucked, came at really bad timing. But your defense, your defense is the reason why you lost this game. The Mad Rusky, everyone, including you, Mitch, have done nothing but blame Carr when our D has been trash for 15 years. You guys are ridiculous. Chris, the 49ers came in too confident and with no game plan. No Carr meant dub for them, and that's why they struggled. Maybe that's the case, but I'm going to give the Raiders a little bit of credit. They played well. On offense, they played a hell of a football game. And back to the Carr thing, again, the defense played well the last 6 games. The fact that the Raiders couldn't win all their last 6, minus the San Francisco game, it's because the offense didn't play well. Fabian, I'm so proud of Jarrett. Better than DC. I don't know if he's better than Derek. I got to be able to look at it from a longer sample size, but one game, I would say Stidham, after one game, to me, showed that he looked more confident in McDaniels' system. Weaponist, Brady will be here next year. I believe it so. Mark it down. This has been planned since the McDaniels and Ziegler hire. Davis wanted Brady in 2020. It's inevitable. I agree. I had Brady as my number 1 quarterback before they benched DC, not because I really want Tom Brady, but it's because I think that that's what Mark Davis, Josh McDaniels, and Dave Ziegler are going to want. They're going to want Tom Brady. Cass Joey, too many people holding DC's pocket. That's facts. Stiddy looked really good. For once, this offense was clicking all 4 quarters. Carr would have been lost by a lot more. Overall, can't be mad. Niners are great. I agree with everything you say. Everything you said there. Radigoff. Well, there it is. Once again, defense loses another lead, most in NFL history. Carr, Stidham, Gannon. With this defense, it won't matter. With this defense, you're right. This defense, that defense is depleted. They got nobody there. It's a rough game. You score 34, you should be able to win. Slash and Mac, home field advantage would have been nice. True. 75% 49ers fans in Allegiant Stadium. Heartbreaking. Danielle Me. Great game by number 3 for sure, but they had no tape on him and his mobility. Still lost the lead. Love what he showed, but quarterback ain't the problem. Defense is the biggest problem going forward. We know that. Moises, Mitch, or Myth. Are we blaming Carr for this one? What about that great defense that played well over the past 6 games? McDaniels and the coaching staff are trash. Yeah, I get it. But what you're not looking at is the defense did play great over the past 6 games. That has nothing to do with this game. This game, they did not play well. Why? You lost Denzel Perriman. You didn't have Chandler Jones. You're missing multiple starters. You can't say the Raiders' defense didn't play great the previous 6 games. Brandon, did we beat the Niners channel and supers and likes? Yes. We still got the win there. So, shout out to all y'all. Eva, shield above all else, then get rid of McDonough. I'm with you. I think it's funny. People think that I want McDaniels and I don't, and that I want Carr. I want him to get rid of Carr. I would have got rid of McDaniels way before I would have got rid of Derek Carr. But moving on from Derek is still the right thing to do. Mark! Oh, well, Mark, I feel your pain, my brother. Thanks for always supporting this show, dude. We got Dan R. 310. Colt Miller struggled. We should draft O-line. I do think if you plan on bringing in a quarterback like Tom Brady, then yeah, you're damn right. You do need to bring in some offensive line of help. However, though, maybe they go quarterback. We'll see. Stidham's mobility was refreshing. Probably 3 or 4 occasions where Carr may have taken a sack thrown away. Love the energy from the O. I think if Derek's your quarterback today, you get sacked 3 or 4 times, and the Raiders maybe put up 24 points. Maybe. Armando, the 4th and 1 call at the goal line sucked. Yeah, I mean, that one hurt. I wanted them to do something a little bit different. I like the aggressive play call, but you kick a field goal there, and it's a little bit different story. At the time, though, I did like them going for it on 4th down. I just wish it would have been a different play. Oh, boy. Do we start the blaming Stidham like we blame Carr? Because we never blame the defense ever. Again, not true. Jersey boy. Regardless, Stidham played better than I expected. He played a lot better than I expected. 100% he did. I don't think we can disagree with that. Ronaldo, we went toe-to-toe with San Francisco. Carr's in the rear view. Carr is in the rear view, probably for the best for this organization. Let's go to Trivan. So would you go offense or defense with our pick? I think when you look at this Raiders team with the amount of holes that they have, I'm looking at best player available. Like, if there's a really good defensive player, you go get him. If there's a really good edge rusher, you get him. If there's a good offensive lineman, you go out and grab him, right? Like, I just think it depends. I'm going to start doing more draft content, start building my draft board, but if they go defense, I'm not going to be upset because defense is the biggest reason why they lost this game, and it's a big reason why they have struggled as many years as they have. No doubt about it. All right, remember, y'all, you can always interact with me on social media, Twitter, Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365, and I'm going to be doing a live show tomorrow also over on Locals. So you can hit me up over there, RaidersReport.locals.com.